4th of July weekend is upon us. We understand that Mark likes to blowtorch his fireworks.
Crazy, legendary, dumb fireworks show.
There should be like Mark's firework flamethrower.
I'd avoid that one, man.
Make good decisions, people.
Safety first. Safety first.
Light it.
Welcome to the Triple Option presented by Wendy's. Try Wendy's new Frosty Fusions with flavors like Caramel Crunch, Oreo Brownie, and Pop-Tart Strawberry.
Light it.
There's going to be some things being lit this week. Yeah, it is July 4th week. Happy July 4th week, everybody. Yeah, especially down there in Florida. Man, I know how. Man, there's those firework stands just kind of pop up in the month of June and July, don't they, Mark, down there?
Hey.
Just everywhere you turn, man. Buy your fireworks.
I just had the U-Haul truck pull up to my driveway last night, loaded up a whole.
Wait, what? There's a
U-Haul
U-Haul truck that'll drop that stuff off?
U-Haul
Like,
truck. You should see
like
what it looks like
Amazon?
when it gets there. You should see what it looks like when it leaves. The before and after Mark gets to the U-Haul truck.
You fired over water or in your backyard or what?
Yeah, so I have a good friend of mine, Jacoby Ford. He has a little dock right on the river, right on the lake, and we go out there and we just blast off, and the whole lake be watching, and they be clapping a round of applause. I should put a tip jar out there.
You should. I am a sucker
How
for
about we have the
fireworks.
Sarasota fireworks right off our back dock here? I mean, I'm looking right where it's going to be.
It's just funner when you light them off.
Is it? Is it, though? I don't know,
if
man.
you're safe. As long as you're safe.
Yeah, I don't trust
We're-
me or the people I hang out with, so
You have to,
I'm
we
leaving
get,
it to
we
the
get
pros.
we get the blowtorch with the wind resistant.
What?
and
You got a
get down-
blowtorch?
Well, because you can't be down there with a Bic lighter, like with wind. Like,
Is
you
there
can't be down.
tequila being served? That's where I'd say probably get away from that blowtorch.
Oh, tequila happens before,
Early and often.
and after, but not during.
All right.
Oh, boy. All right, so we're working on a new blowtorch sponsor. This is good. This is great. Happy July 4th week, everybody. On this week's edition of the Triple Option presented by a great partner, Wendy's, we're going to look at Colorado's upcoming season. We're going to do a deep dive on Oklahoma football with their general manager, Jim Nagy. Really cool conversation. We're going to question some of the tactics by Florida State University lawyers. And yes, there is more legal activity around the University of Michigan and Coach Harbaugh. As always, thanks for joining us. Please rate, subscribe at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever it is you get your podcasts, as well as across social media. We can be found at 3X Option Show. New episodes coming your way every Wednesday on YouTube. And wherever it is you get your podcast, like, subscribe, share, tell your neighbors that you shoot fireworks with down by the creek to watch, and all that other good stuff. All right, so hey, happy July. By the way, what happened?
Wow.
What happened to June? Happy July. And
It is July 1st.
July means the college football season starts next month.
Wow.
But again, it's off the field headlines and chatter that take center stage. Two opening topics. We're going to start in Ann Arbor. Coach Jim Harbaugh, former coach Jim Harbaugh.
How surprising.
Athletic director Warde Manuel, former president Santa Ono. They were added to the hacking lawsuit that has been placed against former Michigan assistant coach Matt Weiss. The attorneys claim that Harbaugh and others knew that Weiss was viewing private information back in December of 2022, but was still able to work as co-offensive coordinator during the playoff game. A week later, Weiss was fired in January, so just essentially days or weeks later. He is charged, this is ugly stuff though, identity theft from 2015 to 2023. According to an indictment, he had access to social media, email, cloud storage accounts of more than 2,000 college athletes and 1,300 students or alumni from schools around the country to primarily find private images of women. Ugly stuff. Listen, we all know there's some bad people out there, but this is another wrinkle, another claim, another potential scab to the resume of some really good Michigan people. And man, they can't, Mark, they can't seem to get themselves away from all of these scandals as of late.
No matter what happens, something just keeps coming back to bite them in the butt. Like, you have this national championship season and it's stained. You have, this program who is trying to be successful and it just keeps getting stained one after another. Like, stuff just keeps popping up on them. So, Man, it's tough being a Wolverine right now, man.
Yeah,
No
no
matter,
kid-
you can't get away from it. As far
Still
as you
waiting
think you
for-
get away from it, it
Right.
comes back to bite you in the butt, man.
I would say this, Mark and Rob, though, I'd pump the brakes on. I've read this thing over and over again, and as egregious it is that what this coach was doing, to start dragging in an AD and a president and Jim Harbaugh, I'd pump the brakes on that. I've seen this before. Obviously, if this guy did do that, that's horrific, and it's probably jail time. That's how serious that
It
is.
should
I was
be.
reading.
I hope it is.
Significant jail time. So, but to start dragging in others, I'd pump the brakes on that. And we have witnessed, and I guess in the next 60 days, what's going to come down from the NCAA for the COVID violation, recruiting, and then the sign stealing. And a lot of coaches have already lost their jobs and have show causes on them. I'd like to bring up the President Ono. Is he employed?
I don't think so. It looked like
Remember,
he was
Mark, he was a president that left.
He was going to go to Florida, right, Coach?
And then the Board of Trustees, unanimous, voted him in, and then the Board of Regents said that's not happening. And I believe he left his spot at the Wolverines, and someone said he turned down a faculty position or something. So that might be another topic for another day, but I wonder what happened there.
This just
a lot
hurts
going on,
me.
man.
This just hurts me though, Stone, because like Matt Weiss, he was my running back coach at Ravens, man. Like,
Oh, he
Wow.
was. I didn't
he
know
was,
that.
he?
man. Yeah, so it's like,
Was that going
was
on when
good.
you were there?
no, not that I know of.
I mean,
You
on the
know,
dates it said.
Back to 2015.
Yeah, I was there 2019 and 2020.
Holy cow.
So, yeah, he was my running back coach, man. It was crazy, dog, to think about because, I mean, seemed
he a
like
normal
just
guy?
a great
What
dude.
was he
man.
like?
Yeah, it seemed like a cool dude, man. Had a family, like,
Wow.
man, you start hearing stuff about people you know, bro.
Yeah.
It's just like it hurts a little bit.
And also, if you're a Michigan fan, like, can I just get some clarity? Like, can I know where we stand right now? Like, just these constant delays of just give us the punishment or
And
let
let
us
us live.
or let us play, man. Like,
Yeah.
let's solve this. This is
Yeah, give us the punishment. Let us move on. 'Cause
You know what's
now
amazing?
if there is
Rob,
punishment.
is
Yeah.
the recruiting is I think they're doing really well. I know
Yeah.
they just got a
Banged
defensive
up.
end
Number
the
one
other day,
quarterback
got
in
a
the country.
5-star.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
wonder what-
So,
But if stuff happens, if they do get punished,
uh-oh.
the recruiting is going to go downhill, and those players are going to want to leave.
Yeah, while we're talking about recruiting and players leaving or players coming in, some interesting wrinkles have come up courtesy of RevShare. We know it's a hot topic in college athletics this summer. CBS Sports' Chris Hummer was able to get his hands on a contract that Florida State football is asking their players to sign. And there's a couple things that raised our eyebrows and caught our attention.
Really raised our eyebrows.
Yeah, there is a full article out there on CBSSports.com. We just pulled out some of the some of the extra eyebrow raising moments. A team can extend a player at the end of their contract without renegotiation. As a side note, this is just kind of away from what Florida State is. Many schools do provide players a window to negotiate after every regular season. Some programs, and there's some in the SEC, have begun writing in a, quote, first right of refusal clause, which allows them to match a higher offer if they receive one from another school. This all goes to our main theme, which we're going to get to in a second. Back to Florida State. They could drop a maximum fine of $2,500. $2,500. A comma is involved on the first offense if a player loses team equipment. First offense if a player loses team equipment such as a pair of cleats. Those are some expensive cleats, my friend. The one
That's
that really
actually wait. Stop there. That's actually on paper.
Yes,
We didn't
it's in
see the contract, right?
It is
Or we
in
didn't
the
see it?
deal.
Again, according to the report, and what the CBS Sports journalist saw. And then there's this one. A section covers breach of contract, including, quote, illness or injury, which is serious enough to affect the value of rights granted
Breach
to
of
the school.
contract.
Listen, lawyers are going to lawyer, right? And I'm sure Florida State just took their legal nerds and said, hey, let's get ahead of the curve. Let's just throw stuff in. Let's get our power. Let's get our ducks in order. Let's be above the conversation. But then when this stuff falls on Mike Norvell's desk, Coach, he's got to be going, wait, what? What are we talking about here?
Let's paint the real picture,
Let me get the red
Mark.
pen out.
Let's paint the real picture. Mark Norvell, Coach Norvell is a friend of mine. We won that golf thing again this year. Good dude and obviously great coach. So, all right, let's just paint the picture for the listener that in the old days, I think it's changed a little bit now, but Mark, you're one of the top players in the country. And then the head coach has got to come in and do something called close. He's got to come in and, if you're not early commit and all that. So I'm just going to paint the picture. It's December. It's early January. You're still undecided. You're down to 3 or 4 schools. You got Kirby Smart, Nick Saban. I'm going to roll in there. And then you got Mac Brown. And they're all going to recruit you. And as they walk into your house, your mom usually puts some food down there, maybe some tea or something like that. And we start talking about academics, your network, opportunity to play, opportunity to get you ready for the NFL, et cetera, et cetera. And then, by the way, you ask a question or else he throws, which I can't believe this. If you lose a pair of shoes, it's going to cost you possibly $2,500. And if you get hurt in one of the most violent sports and tough sports out there, you're going to be in breach of contract. What's the response, Mark?
I'm going to be like, Coach, just give me a copy of that, and I'm going to talk to you later, okay? Like, bro, like, for one, they can extend me, Coach. So say I have an amazing Heisman season, we win a national championship, and I outplayed my value, right? They can extend me without my consent. So now I'm getting underpaid. Then you talk about you could cancel my pay if I get hurt playing for you. You can fine me. I can't appeal it. And that's only one-time offense, Coach. If I do it again, they talking about doubling the fines. So it's like, I'm not signing that deal, Coach. For one, I'm giving away all my leverage. Like, we talk about this new NIL era and this rev share era, like, there's supposed to be some give and take, some balance here. Now we're giving all the power back to Florida State. They want all control and not necessarily fairness, according to this article. So
if I'll make this statement, if this is legit, this goes through, which I'm so skeptical, then the days of Florida State are numbered.
Well,
it
players aren't
won't
going to go
happen.
there.
It won't happen. It can't happen. No chance.
Players aren't going to go there because, for one, this contract gives Florida State way too much control over your future and your money. It exposes you to risk, injury, discipline, loss of leverage, all that. So if you're a top player and you're got Florida State on your visit and they give you this, I'm sure there's another university that's going to give you better conditions and treat you like a partner and not an asset.
Yeah, I think what's happened, Rob, is the pendulum swung so far that the players could leave anytime, unlimited transfers, NIL, no limitations, no guardrails, and now it's swinging back. And some people that shouldn't be involved are getting too involved, and they're putting this power struggle that I've never seen anything like that. Again, if the recruiting, it's over. You can't recruit. Yeah. And in case you haven't noticed, college football is about recruiting.
It's probably a lot like those cell phone agreements that you get, or the mortgages, where they're just like, just initial here, just sign here. This is just a nothing. Don't worry about that. But I guarantee you, what is going to happen? Every major college program is going to go, hey, let's go look at the Florida State roster real quick, and let's go see who's on it and who they're recruiting, and let's just go remind them. Maybe give them a subtle little nudge, like, hey, you might be giving up A, B, C, and D, and we don't do that at X university. Yes. You might want to reevaluate some things. So Norvell and company.
What's amazing, Mark, this Chris Hummer guy, the CBS Sports, there's anonymous sources that said there's even worse contracts than this out there, which I can't. There can't be anything worse.
Right.
I bet there can be.
I can imagine Mark,
I bet there can be.
The recruit walking into recruit's heart and saying, GTFO, get out.
Mom,
don't finish
don't
the
put out
sweet
the
tea.
good
You're
china
out.
for this one.
Yeah, you're
Stoner,
out.
but like you said,
Dixie
you
paper
said
plates.
that you're hoping that this thing is, you saying this thing's like a cell phone agreement where you just like scroll, hit, agree, and continue. Hopefully not. Hopefully these players are smart enough to have someone reviewing this deal before they sign it.
Sure, but if it's like one of these 20-page, 30-page things, you're right.
You have to review it because you are entity,
and that's why you have
brand.
representation. That's why you have a lawyer, and that's why lawyers are going against lawyers, and that's why lawyers always seem to have nice second homes.
Because if it's me, I'm asking, I need some time. Give me a copy of that. I need to review this, and then when I see what's actually happening in this contract, I'm coming back with some more player-friendly clauses in the deal. And if you don't have the player-friendly clauses, if you're not willing to negotiate and institute the player-friendly clauses that I'm requesting, then I'm probably going to leave and go to another school.
Let's hope that the players have the time and the ability to really go through them and care about them, or that I'm sure the third uncle isn't doing that, right, Coach? When you really need that third uncle.
The third uncle is not.
You need a third uncle to break out the bifocals and hold on a second. Let's take a look at Amendment A1.
You have to have
AB.
legit representation to do it. NIL, savvy attorney, just hire an attorney. You're getting paid anyway, so hire you an attorney, pay him a couple grand for him to review your contract. But
Mark,
can't be the third ankle.
Back in your day playing in the NFL, were there certain teams, GMs or lawyers that you had to deal with, or agents that kind of had some reputations where you're like, oh, this team is interested in me. Let's really read the fine print because they have a tendency to do certain things?
Well, that was the thing. They gave you the contract, you reviewed the contract, and if you didn't like what was in the contract, you negotiated the contract. And there were some things that they were willing to bend on. There were some things that there weren't. I had clean negotiations throughout my time in the NFL. So I went to, some first-class organizations with the Saints, the Ravens, even the Texans. They treated me well when I was there. So I was fortunate enough to have done good business with these organizations and fair business where they gave me a contract and we negotiated a contract. Oh, you don't want to pay me the guarantee? Well, hey, we'll give me active roster bonuses. If I'm healthy and I'm playing, I get X amount of money per week. You know what I mean? If I hit these thresholds in yards or touchdowns, I get this amount per week. I mean, so
but
if I
that's
make a Pro
asking
Bowl, I get this.
Moving that to the college conversation, that's asking a lot of a teenager. Again, this is why you need the representation, unfortunately, but that's asking a lot of a teenager to
but
sit there and go,
everything's asking a lot of a
second.
teenager these days. They are getting paid
sure.
hundreds of thousands of dollars. So now as a teenager, you
Grow
have to
up
know
fast.
that you are a brand, you are an entity. So you have to have the right people surrounding you. And a lot of these kids, they don't. But you need to have some type of representation around you to be able to protect you from a contract that gives you that you lose all leverage. You lose the fact to negotiate to extend your contract. You lose the fact to appeal a disciplinary fine. You know what I mean? So you have to be able to protect yourself. And hopefully these kids, they're to whom much is given, much is required.
Yep.
So now you need to be able to protect yourself as such.
I hope there becomes a standardized contract, but I don't see it happening. Every school
It's almost too easy and too simple, right, Coach? Yeah. Makes too much sense.
Yeah, but I can see everyone's out for themselves right now, and I get it. It's a money chase right now, man. I mean, let's just, I know we talked about it a few times. The Wolverines are projected a $25 million a loss in revenue, or a loss in just a budget, a loss. And you see teams dropping sports. So
and firing
tough
employees, right? Universities are in scramble mode right now to try and find this money. And this is just 1 year. Guess what? They got to keep doing it every year. How they're going to generate this money is insane. And that's kind of the new dynamics of college football. And there's new positions in college football. Coming up next, we're going to dive into what exactly a college football general manager does. Oklahoma's GM, Jim Nagy, joins the Triple Option presented by Wendy's. And we do want to note that we recorded this interview just prior to the passing of the historic House settlement, which paved the way for colleges to pay athletes. That's coming up next on the Triple Option.
Light it.
If you love Wendy's classic Frosty flavors, we have got some big news for you. There are all new Frosty Swirl and Frosty Fusion flavors. So, yeah, it's the same creamy treat that you've always loved, now with a flavor refresh. So what are these new flavors?
Well, Stoner, thanks for asking. There are a lot, so I'm just going to list them, okay? We've got the Frosty Swirls, strawberry, brownie batter, and caramel. Then we've got the blended Frosty Fusions, caramel crunch, Oreo brownie with swirl thick brownie batter sauce and crunchy Oreo cookie pieces, and Pop-Tarts, strawberry with a street strawberry sauce and chunks of crazy good Pop-Tarts pieces.
You know your flavors. Not to mention that, yes, you can still get your classic vanilla. Try them all and find your favorite.
Are you going to be a strawberry swirl girl, a caramel craze fanatic, brownie batter buff, Pop-Tart strawberry fanatic, Oreo brownie stay?
These are all really, really good questions, Mark. Anyway, whatever flavor you're craving, odds are we've got a Frosty for it. So check in for sweet treat time with Wendy's. All new Frosty flavors. A refresh on a classic? Gotta be Wendy's. Finding great candidates to hire can be like trying to find a needle in a haystack sometimes. You get too many resumes, not enough candidates with the right skills or experience.
But not with ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter finds amazing candidates for you fast. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/option.
ZipRecruiter's smart technology identifies top talent for your roles quickly. Immediately after you post your job, ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology starts showing you qualified people for it.
ZipRecruiter lets you connect with top candidates ASAP. You can use ZipRecruiter's pre-written invite to apply message to personally reach out to your favorite candidates and encourage them to apply sooner.
So ditch the other hiring sites and let ZipRecruiter find what you're looking for. That needle in the haystack. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day, and you can try it for free at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/option. Again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/option. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Welcome back to the Triple Option presented by Wendy's. Rob Stowe, Mark Ingram II, Urban Meyer back here with you. We've been seeing more and more programs, whether it's in college basketball and obviously here in college football, hiring general managers for their football team. What exactly is a GM? What's their role? Great question. To answer some of those, we head out to Boomer Sooner country. We welcome in Jim Nagy, the general manager of the Oklahoma Sooners football team. Jim, thanks for joining us. And number one, all right, let's give you a snapshot. Your wife takes you out to some summer get-together in Norman, and you meet some people you've never met before, and they say, what do you do? And you go, I'm the Oklahoma football general manager. And they go, that's nice. What is that? What does that mean? I have no idea what a general manager does, and I'm sure it changes from school to school. But if you were to be asked, what do you do in Norman? Tell us what it is.
Yeah, I've been asked that a few times. Appreciate you guys having me on. I will say this: there's no succinct way to sum it up because there's a lot of parts to this job. But really, here more than anything, to help the coaching staff, and help build this roster and streamline the process, and really bring. Everyone says they're trying to go to an NFL model. And yes, my background is in the NFL. I've never worked in college football before. But I think there's some process things that we've brought to Oklahoma that I think are going to help the evaluation process and certainly the valuation process. We've never had to really value players. So again, it's going to be a really fun collaboration. It already has been over the last 3 months, just getting in the building with the coaches. Certainly been energizing for me. I've been out of a football building for the last 7 years running the Reese's Senior Bowl. So just getting around coaches and players again has been awesome. It's been a big move moving from the state of Alabama out here to Oklahoma, but more than anything, just helping out this coaching staff, and they've been really receptive. We're trying to make their jobs easier in places. These college coaches got a lot on their plates. I think the biggest part right now that people are forgetting is that there's an actual retention part of the job, right? Like Coach Meyer used to get guys on campus and you basically had them, you had them for 4 or 5 years, and now that's not the case. So, we can get into it, kind of how we're doing that and how we're buying more time for our coaches to do their jobs. But yeah, man, we're just here to support the coaches and build this roster.
Hey, Jim, thanks for joining us. And I don't know if I even told Rob and Mark this, but I had a school come see me this year and asked if I wanted to be the GM, and a couple other phone calls. And you start to think, okay, they actually came to see me. And so I said, yeah, we'll meet and I'll sit down with you guys. And I said, okay, what is the job description? They said, well, basically you handle all the, you meet with all the agents of the 17, 18-year-olds. And I thought, I'd rather step on a rusty nail and pull it out what in the, but if that's what you got to do, Jim, God bless you, brother. But what is the I think a lot of people are asking, what's the hierarchy in college football, kind of generally? Is it athletic director, GM coach, athletic director, once again, I think it's probably different, but what's the hierarchy that you expect?
Yeah, it is. It varies. It varies by school. Again, I actually spoke to a couple schools in the offseason before I took the job at Oklahoma, and part of it was the structure. That's what drew me to Oklahoma, because it is going to be a true split structure between Coach Venables and myself, and we're going to work in tandem. And when I came out for the interview, I mean, I tried to be really intentional with my communication with Brent that, if we move forward, we got to be on the same page. Being in the NFL, that's truly the most critical relationship in the building in my mind, general manager and head coach, and really stripping the ego out of it. And I said to Brent, when we're in terms of putting this roster together, I went all the way back to 1996 when I was an intern with the Green Bay Packers, and I had the good fortune of driving our general manager Ron Wolf from Green Bay to Milwaukee one day. There's not a lot of flights going in and out of Austin Straubel Airport in Green Bay, Wisconsin. So we had a little road trip, and I'm 22 years old, 21 years old, whatever I was. A little intimidated during the car ride with the future Hall of Fame GM. But as he was getting out, I asked him, I said, "Mr. Wolf, do you have any advice for, a young guy like me if I ever am fortunate enough to be in a position like yours?" And he said, "Don't ever force players on your coaches." And I've always taken that to heart. And so that was part of the conversation that Coach Venables and I had when I came up for the interview. There's a lot of high school players out there. It's we're going to be in lockstep with who we're bringing on this football team. So the nice thing with our new scouting staff is we're going to have layers and layers of cross check, which that's one thing I don't think has existed in college football before. The assistant coaches have had all the autonomy to go out and recruit the guys they want to recruit and watch the tape, and ultimately it's been the head coach's decision on who you take and who you build the roster around. So we're just bringing that structure. We're bringing a grading system, which most college programs don't have. So that's where I think we're going to have value. And again, really more than anything, it's the manpower. So we're going to have a staff of 8, 9, 10 guys watching tape that are experienced, proven evaluators. And again, I don't think there's a lot of schools in college football that have that. I don't know if there are any right now. I think there's probably some that will go in that direction. But the great thing is the buy-in. The coolest part of the job so far has been the buy-in from the assistants, right? Like, I didn't want to come in here and just blow this thing up, watching tape and maybe not agree with where they were at with some of their assessments on players. We haven't done that. These guys have worked really hard on the 2026 class, but there have been some times where we've had to finesse it and pivot a little bit, right? And get on some new players. And the coolest part is they have taken that and ran with it. And we've gotten some commitments here already in June from players that we didn't get on until a month or two ago. And I credit the coaches because they went after them and they recruited their tails off. And that's always going to be a big part of this. Like, we can evaluate the players, and a great belief in our new staff's ability to do that and find value. But at the end of the day, you still have to recruit them.
Yeah.
You still got to love them up. You still got to make these guys feel like Oklahoma is going to be their home. So, sorry to get long-winded, but that's kind of where we're at right now with everything.
Yeah. No, Jim, we appreciate your time, man. New role, GM. That's great. But you were running the Senior Bowl and built it to the top college all-star game. Why do you pick Oklahoma, and why this position?
I thought you were going to go there, Mark.
Yeah, you left the great state of Alabama to go to Oklahoma, man. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, man, it's my wife's hometown, Mobile, Alabama. So yeah, I mean, it was a hard decision to leave the Seattle Seahawks when I did back in 2018. That was a great organization, really incredible culture with Pete Carroll and John Schneider. But that was a family decision. That was really, my son was in 8th grade. He was getting ready to play all his high school sports, and I was going to miss all that. Being a scout, you're on the road a couple hundred nights a year. So that was really a family thing. And then, we worked our tails off at the Senior Bowl. It had always been the best all-star game, but, we felt like there was some improvements to be made. And I think we took that thing to another level. Really proud of what the staff did there over the last 7 years. But then, when the phone rang, I interviewed for the Jets GM job back in December. Obviously didn't get that, but that was a really cool opportunity. And then the phone did ring from some college programs, And I'd never even thought about working in college. My goal from the time I was a little kid was to work in the National Football League. And again, fortunate to have been able to do that for a couple decades. So, the plan was maybe to get my daughter through high school down there in Mobile. She's got 2 years left. This was not an ideal time to make the move. I mean, to tell your 16-year-old who grew up in the same house and has her group of friends that she's now moving to Oklahoma. I didn't. So this decision wasn't made lightly, man, at all. But again, it was Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And so when I came on the visit and met the people, and you walk in the building downstairs, similar to Mark, where you were at, and Coach, where you were at Ohio State and Florida, you walk in the door and there's all these 7 national championship trophies and 7 Heisman trophies. Like, everything has been done at Oklahoma. We know we can do it here, right? And I believe in scouting. I believe in my profession. I love my profession. I know the value of scouting, and I know what that can add to a great coaching staff that we already have here. So that's really what it was. I wasn't going to make this jump to a level I never really intended to work,
Right.
unless we were going to win at a really high level. We plan on winning championships here. So I felt like this was a place that could do it, where we could do it. And now here we are.
Thank you.
Jim Nagy, the general manager of the University of Oklahoma football program. You talk about value. Back in the days, and even today, one way to value players, he's a 5-star, 4-star, 3-star. You talk about how we value players. So tell us what that process is for you guys to come up with the valuation.
Sure. We've got a grading scale we're going to stick to. We've got in the NFL, there's a numbers-based grading scale. There's a color-based scale. I think the color-based is a little easier for everyone to get on the same page on. So that's what we're going with here. And that's going to also dictate how we spend on players as well. You vary too much from, if you don't have a structure in place, you're going to be all over the place with paying players. And then the next thing you know, you're going to be over the cap. So, the cap was just put in place here recently with the revenue share, where it's all guaranteed money. So yeah, it's good. We're going to evaluate just like we would in the National Football League, and that's where you find your value. I think, Mark, what were you coming out of high school? Were you a big time 5-star guy? I didn't follow that stuff.
I was 3 stars. I had a big senior year. I got an Alabama offer, and then that's how I got my 4th star. So
that's right.
Yeah,
that's right. So again, I respect everyone that works at those services to put the stars on guys. I really do. I mean, they have hard jobs to do as well. But we're not going to pay any attention to that. I think what we saw this spring, which I think was a really good way to do it, is we graded the players on our new scale. And then when you get to OV season is when you see where you can get value, right? Because I think what's going to set the market for a lot of these players in terms of what they're being paid and what agents expect to be paid is the star system, right? I think 5 stars want to get paid like 5 stars.
Right.
So when you get into the OV season, we might have the same grade on a 5-star and a guy that's a 3-star. And when you look at where they're taking their OVs to, if they're going to Ohio State and Oregon and Texas A&M, that's going to be a certain market, right?
Right.
But then if the same graded player is getting offers from some group of 5 schools, we know where what direction we're probably going to go, because you're looking for that value. And if you look at National Football League rosters and dig back into their high school backgrounds, man, that league is littered with 2- and 3-star players.
Yes.
So they're out there.
Yes.
Again, it's just we need to identify those guys and trust our evaluation. So that's really, not to share too much of the trade secrets there, but that's how we're going to attack it.
Yeah. So I'm going to wrap up with this one. And Coach, you know where I'm coming with this. I know, Coach, when you were out on the road, you saw dudes that maybe had a 2-star or a 3-star, but you're like, I can see his heart. I can see his grit. I can see his leadership, right? Like, that's just something I think, I don't know what it is, but you know it when you see it. Is that fair, Coach?
Yeah, it's a mindset. Absolutely.
Yeah. So
and there's a mindset grade.
Yeah. How do you find that and put that into your evaluation to value a certain player?
Yeah, Rob, that's probably going to be the hardest thing for me, because I'm used to being on the road. I'm used to being those boots on the ground and, in the buildings. I've been in Coach Meyer's building, a million times when he was coaching, and you develop those relationships with the coaches. And so you can trust what they say about their players. And then you go to practice and you let your eyes do the work, right? You observe things. So that's going to be the hardest part, but that's all educating this coaching staff, and they've been doing it. They know what to look at. But again, maybe sharing some of our experiences from the way we attacked it in the NFL. But there's no doubt about it. We just had a young man here on an official visit recently who'd lost his father, and real recently. And to sit across from him, he's in a room with 3 guys with 60 years of NFL experience, myself and a couple of our assistant GMs, and he's opening up about that experience and how he wants to play for his dad in the fall. And man, that stuff's powerful.
Yeah.
That stuff's really, really powerful. And when going back to my time in Seattle, Pete Carroll's big thing was like finding guys that have been through adversity. If we got to the combine, that was his first question he shot at every player was, talk to me about the roughest thing you've ever been through and how you worked through it. So yeah, we're going to value that. We're not just going off the tape. We're not, we're really going to value what our coaches, when they go on the road and they go into these high schools and they see what they see and hear what they hear. That's going to be a huge part in our evaluation process as well.
Well, Jim, good luck with the new gig. I know there's a lot riding on this season in Norman. We wish you well. And listen, if there's one thing you accomplish this summer, you find your way to Coach Stoops' house. All right, that's got to be your goal. We'll put in a good word for you. That's the place to be in Norman, Coach Stoops' Castle. It's the best. Jim Nagy, General Manager, University of Oklahoma football program. Thanks, Jim. Have a great summer.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Light it.
Baseball fans, BetMGM is giving you the chance to win a prize every day during the baseball season. Step into the batter's box for BetMGM's Swing for the Fences free-to-play game.
Log in every day for your chance to win. All you need to do is pick an area of the strike zone and take your best swing. If you get a single, double, triple, or home run, you'll receive a prize. Smash a home run to collect a bonus bet on us.
Just log into your BetMGM Sports account to get started. Then visit your promotions section to access the Swing for the Fences free-to-play game.
Swing for the Fences with BetMGM. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. This U.S. promotional offer not available in D.C., Mississippi, New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. For New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. For Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. For Massachusetts, 1-800-327-5050. For Iowa, 1-800-BETS-OFF. For Puerto Rico, 1-800-981-0023. For West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. Subject to eligibility requirements in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Welcome back to The Triple Option presented by Wendy's. Rob, Mark, Urban back here with you. The Triple Option. Now time for The Treat of the Week presented by The Wendy's. Try Wendy's new Frosty Fusions with flavors like Caramel Crunch, Oreo Brownie, and Pop-Tarts Strawberry. 4th of July weekend is upon us. We understand that Mark likes to blowtorch his fireworks. How do you celebrate, Mark, the 4th of July before you start igniting pyrotechnics?
Man, we just have great vibes. We have family. We have friends over. We throw good food on the grill. We have probably, I think last year we had 20-something kids running around the yard, in the pool. So
a lot of chlorine needed this weekend.
Yeah. No, we hopefully that your kids will, treat our home as your home and not piss all in the pool. You know what I mean? So no, we just spend time with family, friends, good people, and we just eat good, listen to good music, and we just spend time together. We play games, and then we get everybody together. We go to my boy Jacoby's house, and we set off a fireworks show. Crazy, legendary, dumb fireworks show.
I want to get you, there should be, Mark's firework flamethrower, right? We should create something like that. Well, that's a great side hustle. I'm full of side hustles this week for you.
I should start charging admission, but I mean, you could just look up in the air and see it. So
that's true. That's true. Coach, what do? You just sit there and you laugh. You laugh at your adversaries.
No, for almost 40 years, this was my favorite holiday, and it still is because this is the calm before the storm as a coach and a player. I mean, you get a break from the off-season program. As a coach, you used to get 3 weeks off, and this is right in the middle of it. And so that's all I remember is this was family time, and as best you can, just stay away from everything. So we have 2 granddaughters here in Sarasota, and we got the firework display. I'm not going to blowtorch it myself, but right out Sarasota Bay, we get to watch it. It'll be beautiful, great food, and hang out, probably do some boating, but we hear some weather is headed this way, some rain. But all good, man. Slice of paradise here.
Do you guys have, I don't think you know about it, Coach. Mark, you might, but your kids are a little younger. Life 360. You guys know what that app is?
We have Life 360.
Yeah, Life 360. That's going to be my July 4th. I'm
What
just,
is
it's
it?
gonna be
Watching
like
your kids?
it's gonna be like my Netflix. It's gonna be my YouTube TV. It's gonna be my Fox. Just where are they now? Wait, whoa! Why are they south of the border? Well, yeah, that young man has been at the beach for a long time. Yeah, that's gonna be me watching 4 teenagers on Life 360.
Yeah,
Happy
Life
July
360.
4th.
Wow.
It's a great app.
So who's going to be with you?
My wife will be equally stressed with me.
Both you guys are going to be
my-
watching this.
And then my
Live
dog will
360.
be cowering underneath something, just absolute miserable when people start shooting stuff off.
But the
out
kids
to
won't
the
be with
east
you?
of LA and on the beach.
The kids won't be there?
They want. Are you kidding me? You think teenagers want to hang out with their parents on 4th of July when
Yeah,
we're
but you and
watching
Lynn are
the
like
beach?
cool parents.
We're awesome, and we have no chance. We have no chance.
I've hung out with Stoner before, Mark. So
I'm all
that's
right.
Pretty good.
Me
I'm
too.
okay, Coach.
good.
Lynn's not bad either.
See, that's
All
why you
right,
got to
great.
have a spot where they want to throw the party there. Like, hopefully the kids still want to like invite all their people over and they want to throw the party here. So
I
I'm like,
understand.
okay, I could just monitor when they get older.
It's a
like,
tricky balance, Mark. It's a tricky.
You know what
balance.
happens? You know what you get to look forward to is once they get their own families, though, they all want to be with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what's
Yeah.
kind of cool down with Shelly and I now is it's the opposite. Where teenagers scatter, post-teenagers come home. It's kind of
Because
cool.
I think like I'll speak for myself. Like you thought you knew everything. You thought your parents wanted to like control you and not let you
Bingo.
do stuff. And then you get older, you're like, damn, my parents were all right. They knew what the heck they were
Hey,
talking
man,
about. Like, I really
all my
appreciate
kids
them.
have all the answers at this age right now. They know everything about everything. I'm like, bro, you know nothing about a whole lot of stuff.
You know nothing about a whole
You
lot.
know nothing about a whole lot of stuff. Mom and dad will take care of you. All right,
Yeah.
time now for the triple option crystal ball brought to you
Where's
by
that
Ben
ball at, man? Where's that crystal?
tiny.
ball?
It's tiny. It's deep in the recesses of my huge podcast studio. The triple option crystal ball is brought to you by BetMGM. BetMGM is giving you the chance to win a prize every day during the baseball season. Step into the batter's box for BetMGM's Swing for the Fences free-to-play game. Visit BetMGM app to access the game, and you'll score a prize if you hit a single, a double, triple, or a home run. So this week, we're going to use the crystal ball to look into a program that has had that spotlight directly on them the last couple seasons. Coach Prime up there in Boulder in Colorado. The expectations this season, guys, understandably so, according to BetMGM, much lower. BetMGM is setting the win total 6.5.
Oh,
Ouch. Ouch, babe.
I'm looking at their schedule, Mark. This
Yep.
is going to be a tough one, man.
It's going to be a tough one. So BetMGM sets the regular season win total right now at 6.5. The over coming in at plus 150. The under is at minus 185. So again, 6.5. All right. So this will be year number 3 under Coach Prime. Remember, year 1 went 4-8. Last year overall, it was 9-4, closed with the bowl loss to BYU, but did finish the regular season 9-3, and that was with Shedeur Sanders at quarterback and Heisman Trophy winner Travis Hunter playing both sides of the ball. And they had 3 of their top 4 wide receivers that are now gone in the NFL. They had no ranked wins last season, guys. He has dipped into the transfer portal like we know he would, but clearly not to the same extent that he did in years past. He has 26 transfer portal commits. Remember, last year was around 43. One of the big ones, though, is Caden Slater, the transfer quarterback from Liberty, who put up almost 8,000 total yards and 77 touchdowns as a 3-year starter. He's also got a 5-star freshman coming in, and Juju Lewis. So we'll talk about Colorado, but as always, let's start with that schedule that you're already looking at, Coach, and it begins with Georgia Tech.
There was a time Georgia Tech was not, it's had an incredible, Paul Johnson had it moving, then it kind of fell apart. But Brent Key's got him going. I don't know. It's at Boulder, though, looks like. So that's a tough trip for Georgia Tech early in the year. You have altitude issues. I'm putting 0.5 there.
I knew you were going to start
What
with
do you
the
think, Mark?
0.5 is crazy. I'm gonna say, man, it's just all up in the air right now because we don't know what Colorado's gonna look like.
Right.
All right, we'll give him a 0.5. That's fine.
Okay,
That's fine.
okay.
Let's give him a 1. The Delaware
Yeah, we'll
Blue
give them
Hens
a 1.
in
So that's
town.
1.5.
And then they hit the road at Houston. I think Houston is really a program on the rise that we're going to be talking a little bit more about in the coming years. But a road trip at Houston, we talking another 0.5?
No, I say a W.
Oh, W. All right,
2.5.
I'll give you W. All right, home to Wyoming.
W.
W.
3.5.
All right. Then versus BYU, and obviously BYU's going through a whole lot at quarterback right now and late stages.
Yeah, I read that.
But
gosh.
BYU is, boy, a program athletically, the whole program, not just football, but everything athletic for BYU is on the rise. They're playing the money game. They're going to be great in basketball again. But home to BYU, another 0.5.
So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. They're
We're
4 wins.
So let's just give them 4 with all those 0.5s.
So I'm going over. If they have 4 wins well,
hold on.
We gave
hold on.
0.5.
Yeah, we might be
I don't see
slowing
if
the
they
roll
win
now.
another one, though.
Because now we're going to Fort Worth. You're going into the
at
fort.
TCU versus Iowa State.
You're going to take it on TCU. No.
Yep. No.
Then you're home to Iowa State.
No.
No. Then you're at Utah. Utah
No.
has to be better this year.
No.
So we're stuck at 4, by the way, versus Arizona. Home to Arizona. Let's give them 1, huh?
5.
5.
Okay,
at
5.
West Virginia.
I don't know. No, I think Rich Rod's
at
going
West
to get
Virginia.
that place cranked up, man.
Coach Rich Rod, what are they going to be? Then home to Arizona State. By the way, the team that won the Big 12 last year and went to the national playoffs.
No.
At Kansas State, one of the favorites to win the Big 12.
Listen, man.
Fast start.
We're here at 5. We're hanging at 5, and the number's 6.5.
Talk to me, Mark. Damn.
Listen, it's all about the cohesion that we find, like with Colorado. This Slater kid, he goes out, he has experience. He gets it going.
Yeah.
They get an offensive line that can protect the quarterback. They have a defense that can.
So you're saying over?
I'm saying we don't know, man. I'm saying we don't know.
You get paid to say no.
Right? I'm going over because I have faith in Deion. I feel like they're going to get this thing together. Let's just be honest, though. What is 6.5? I say 6, 7 wins. I think that's a good season for them right now.
I agree.
You had lost Shadur. You lost Travis Hunter, arguably the best player in college football of recent. And then I just think their coaching staff, man, they have a lot of coaches with a lot of experience. They went and got Marshall Faulk. They went and got D'Amato Pico, or one of the D linemen I play with. So you got this coaching tree of experience and knows how to communicate with players. They've hit the transfer portal. They went and got a quarterback. They trying to shore up this offensive line. They were last in sacks per game last year. So it's a lot of things that have to go right. But I think with the coaching staff, with the players, with the mindset and the strategy that Deion has, I feel like they're going to get this thing going. Let's just be realistic. 6 or 7 wins, that'll be a great season for Colorado this year. As long as they look the part, they're 2 deeps. If there's injuries that happen, they have 2 deeps that can go in there and still play formidable football. If they're running the football, not getting bullied in the trenches, if they're protecting the quarterback, all those things. If they do those things, I feel like it'll be a successful season for Prime.
Year 3, coach. Year 3 is always a tricky one. And with that spotlight, that always seems to find Coach Prime and the way he's gone about it and with his kids with the program and winning the Heisman. This is probably going to be his. You think this is going to be tougher than year 1 for him in Boulder?
I do, because he set a stand. Now it depends. Once you hit a 9-win, that's almost like, okay, the crowd will probably start to thin out if they start losing, and then you got some issues. They've been the talk of college football. And the other thing I want to point out is that this Colorado team, we don't know what it's going to look like. We knew last year what it's going to look like. You had Travis Hunter, you had Shador, you had a certain look to it. This will be completely different. They don't have the transfer portal, the 40 guys. It's much less, which, you're reading it, that tells there's stability in the program. When you start flipping 45, 50 players every year, I still don't know how that worked. But they got to
see. We got to see.
So I'm with Mark on this. I think it's going to be right around there, and it's amazing. Again, Vegas. Who in the hell does that for Vegas? Because they are good.
People who make a way above our pay grade, because they be right on it.
Because they know the backdrop. There's a lot of. I remember when I was coaching, I'd hear stories like, "How do they know that?" So,
yep.
By the way, if Coach Prime pulls it off, I think he needs to get his due in the terms of his coaching chops.
Yes. This is a credibility year for Deion's coaching. You lose Travis, you lose Shador, and now it ain't about flash. It's about coaching. It's about leadership. It's about teaching. It's about adjusting. And like I said, they have those coaches. So, it ain't – I got faith in them, but you know what I mean? It's not about Instagram clips. It's not about none of that, not about celebrity power. It's about, can you get this team looking like a football team? That's going to be through coaching. It's not going to be through star power. It's going to be through building your roster, building the chemistry. And I have faith in Deion. I have faith in his coach staff that he's assembled. I think they're going to do it, man. So
I want to add one
watching.
last thing, Mark, because I got to go backstage of the whole scene, and and so did you. You met with the players, but I went and watched them practice, and it's as uncomfortable sometimes as I am when I see the watches and I see the cars and all the flash. It's just not me. But when I saw what went on behind the scenes, I agree with you. There's a culture there. He is tough on him, man. He is demanding of that team, and that's what blew my mind. And I remember calling you guys. I said, guys, this is not a 1 in 10 program. First of all, I saw Travis Hunter.
Yes.
And I said, whoa, you have to be an idiot not to see that one.
Yeah.
But they had good-looking players. They had fast receivers, and their coaching staff worked really hard. There was not one way that I always evaluate a team and their staff. There's no wasted time.
Yeah.
They went out to work and they left, and in between those 2 hours, it was go time.
Yeah.
And I've left other practices like, this is awful. Come on, let's go.
There's substance in that program for sure.
Yep.
They're building men.
Sure
Yeah, there's substance. So that's
And
why I believe in Colorado. That's why I believe in Prime.
It starts at the top, right? It starts with Coach Prime. He's had some health issues this offseason as well. So, Coach Prime, we're always thinking about you, one of our favorite human beings, not just in college football, but in general. So stay healthy, get healthier, be strong, Coach Prime. Get those wins, baby. Get those wins in year 3. Everybody, enjoy your 4th of July week. Stay away from people with flamethrowers and firecrackers in their back pocket. Make good decisions, people, especially my teenagers. Follow, subscribe, rate us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, as well as across social media at 3X Option Show. Thank you, as always, to our great sponsors, BetMGM, ZipRecruiter, Wendy's. Happy birthday, America. Enjoy your week, guys.
We love you. We love you, America.